Hello everybody, welcome to the Marketix presentation for SEO Training Masterclass. Look, the objective of today's webinar and masterclass is really to take you through the process of SEO and how it pertains to helping businesses like yours grow their market share organically. Now, I'm going to cover off a lot of techniques and tactics and strategy that we use every single day for hundreds of our own clients. So I do highly recommend you get a pen ready so you can take some notes as we go along. I'm going to cover off a lot of information and you're also going to be able to take away some key pieces of insight that you can apply to your website today. So look, get your pen ready and let's get into it. So look, in terms of today's agenda, look, I'll start with an introduction of myself and the business. We'll talk a little bit about what SEO is, how it works. We're then going to dig deep into how you can actually do your own SEO and some of the sort of common pitfalls and mistakes to avoid. We'll then move into what we call our killer three-step process and framework. And we use this on every single one of the clients that we onboard as an SEO agency with great success, and it works every single time. So it'll be really useful for you to find out about that. And finally, look, it wouldn't be a masterclass without me giving you an offer, but look, it's entirely optional. You don't have to take it. But look, as you go through this, if you feel that you need help and want to talk to either myself or members of my team for a free SEO consultation, you'll be able to do that at the end of this masterclass. So let's get on to it. I'm not going to waste time. I'm just going to rip through the slides. So a quick introduction on myself. My name is Shoaib Mughal. I'm the director and owner of Marketix. Look, I've worked in some very large corporations, particularly around technology go-to-market and advisory services for the likes of Gartner and Oracle. Now, I've been in the boardrooms of companies like Microsoft, Woolworths, Commonwealth Bank, helping them with their go-to-market strategy, along with some of these other organizations, really helping them to want to distill digital information and insights and how they can help grow their businesses. So as you can see, I've been doing that for a number of years. I've been in over 16 years in technology space and over 12 years in the consulting, marketing and sales space. Now, Marketix is a company now. So look, we work with a whole range of different organizations, be that service organizations or product organizations located in Australia. So you can see a range here. You know, we've got construction companies, we've got not-for-profits, we've got some of the larger real estate organizations, and we've got e-commerce, we've got enterprise clients like Fuji, Xerox, and IT services companies like Geeks on Tap. So we provide SEO services for a wide range of organizations, be they small or large, which is what places me in a good position right now to talk to you about SEO, how SEO can help you in the best way of actually approaching SEO for different sizes of businesses. So look, let's get straight into it. The business challenges for SEO. Really, look, when you distill the challenges of SEO, it really comes down to three core things. Either your customers don't know about your business, you're not getting enough relevant traffic coming through to your website, or number three, you're not getting calls or inquiries from your website to convert into paying customers. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you look at how SEO solves those challenges, it allows organizations, small or large, of varying industries to dominate at the top of the search rankings on Google. So what does that actually mean in real business terms? It means that business can get relevant traffic. It means their traffic is free from Google every time someone's searching for their product or service on Google. And ultimately, it leads down the path of getting more calls or inquiries from your website. And look, with SEO, it's what we call bottom of the funnel marketing, because there's a high amount of intent when someone's actually searching for a product or service. For example, if someone's searching for a product or emergency plumber in Sydney, they need a plumber right now. That's on demand. They're not looking to, find out what to look inside a plumber. They're just looking to speak to a plumber and get something done. Conversely, if someone's looking for managed services, managed IT services, they already know that they need managed IT services. All they're trying to do is find the right company for them that they can get in touch with and find out whether or not they're a good fit for their purposes. And that's it. So look, hopefully I'm not teaching anyone how to suck eggs here, but look, it's important to take a look at what is search engine optimization, or SEO. I've got a couple of examples here showing you Lawyer and Parramatta, an AdWords agency in Australia. And really SEO is getting businesses ranking on page 1 or above in the top 3 positions ideally, so that when a customer is looking for their product or services, that person can go straight through to their website, find out a little bit more about whether or not they're a good fit, and get in touch, make an inquiry, make a call. Look, it's very straightforward. Search engine optimization, in a nutshell, is helping businesses to rank on the first or above on Google, so that more customers can click through to their website and become a paying customer of that business. That's the only purpose of SEO. So let's dig a little deeper into some sort of statistics around SEO. So look, these are really important statistics, because search engine optimization, organic traffic, consistently proves to be a more powerful way to generate business for local service businesses, for mid-sized businesses or enterprise businesses. If you look at the conversion rate for organic traffic, it's 16% compared to 1.7% from traditional outbound methods. And that might be email or, calling your customers. That's significant. We found that organic is 3 times more effective at converting compared to social media. And that's from research that a company called HubSpot did. If you don't know HubSpot, they're probably the biggest CRM vendor in the world right now. Another thing to be cognizant of, look, Google has the largest share of search engine traffic in Australia by far. They're at 94%, whereas, other organizations like Bing, they're around, 3.88%. That might be changing, but there are slight demographic changes. So you find that more tech savvy, more internet native people will be using Google, whereas perhaps the older generation that are using Windows Explorer, which comes as standard on many Windows laptops, for example, they might be using Bing, and perhaps some Office users, but they make up such a small chunk of every user. And the other thing to consider is most people are using mobile phone devices, which is standard. They'd be using Google search, so just something to bear in mind. Next slide is looking at SEO ranking factors. So this is by an organization called Moz. If you don't know Moz, they're one of the top 3 SEO software providers in the world. What Moz do, they provide marketing insights and intelligence for SEO users, so they can understand what metrics are driving ranking improvements for different websites or different key phrases, in a nutshell. But they did a research with thousands and thousands of data points, and what they determined was, these are the key ranking factors in terms of what helps a website to rank. So, number 1 is link signals. What that means is, getting a backlink from another website going back to their website, the authority of those domains, the amount of links they've got, and the quality of those. Then the next one is on-page signals. So, presence of that NAP means name, address, and phone number. How consistent is that across different websites? Are there, relevant keywords in the titles? What is the domain authority of the business's websites? The third ranking factor is looking at behavioral signals. So how does a user that comes onto that website actually use that website? Are they clicking around, finding more information? Are they finding that website too cluttered for them? Are they clicking away, bouncing off the page because it's just not relevant? Then the next factor is Google My Business. So that's Google's own directory listing service. What is the proximity of that business to that individual? What categories does that business say it service? Are there any keywords that are in that business title that might be relevant? The next ranking factors come down to citations. So those would be, internet directories like Yellow Pages. Again, it comes down to name, address, phone number consistency. The next level would be personalization. So if you've got a Google account, so you're using Gmail, you'll be getting a level of personalization in your web searching experience. So, if you're consistently sort of searching for certain types of things, you're more likely to be shown certain information that might be a little bit more relevant for you. So it's that hyper personalization that Google aims for, which means everyone's results are very slightly different. The other thing they look at is review signals. So has this business got good reviews? Have they got good marketing footprint? Are they delivering a good service to their customers? How many reviews are they getting in terms of their velocity? How diverse are those reviews? Are they coming from different types of individuals? Are they coming from different IP addresses? Are they coming from different locations? And then final sort of ranking factors around social signals. So what that means is, what is the engagement like for this business on Facebook or Twitter, for example? Are other people sharing this business's page on a regular basis? So these are all the sort of core signals that make it up. And we'll dive in deeper into this in our 3-stage framework later on. So look, these slides are just very quick. It's just some of the ways that we can look at measuring SEO. So one of the tools that Google provides us is Search Engine Console. And what that gives us is what key phrases people are actually typing in, how many times they're typing that in. We set this up for our clients when we start a project. The other thing that we also use for measuring is Google Analytics, because it can help us understand, where our customers are coming from, whether or not that's organic, whether it's come from social, whether it's come from paid search or email, etc. It just gives a bit more context about where those users are coming from, what those conversion rates are. Great. So we've covered a little bit of a background on SEO. Let's talk a little bit more about why SEO is important to grow. So really, SEO is important if you want your business to become a market leader. And the reason why I say this is because if you look at page 1 of Google, 80% of those clicks are going to page 1. If someone's typing for that product or service, the people that getting the clicks on page 1 of Google for that product or service, they are the market leaders. And I'm sure you'll agree with that. SEO is really good for the long-term solution for growth because it captures people, as I mentioned before, right at the bottom of that marketing funnel. So, it is the long-term solution for growth because once you're ranking on Google and you're maintaining those positions, all that traffic that you're getting from Google is free. You're not paying per click, or you're not paying for costly marketing exercises. You're consistently driving new traffic to your website for new customers looking for exactly your product or service. So it's really helps you to consistently drive those leads from your website. The final point I make is, those that are ranking highly on Google, they are the ones that grow large business. If the remove lists that are on page 1 of Google, they're the ones with multiple trucks. The plumbers that are on page 1 of Google, those are the business which have multiple utes that are going around, Sydney, for example. The managed service providers or real estate companies that are on page 1 of Google, they're the ones that are getting the bulk of the business. They've got multiple staff. They have large businesses because they've got high demand. They're driving leads from their website. So, we know these things are true. So let's get into the SEO framework. And, this is just an extension on what we saw with the signals that we saw from the Moz research that I shared with you earlier. Remember those thousands of data points. Now, this is our 3-stage framework that we apply for every single one of our clients as we go along. And there's really 3 pillars to SEO. And the first pillar is around on-page SEO. Now, on-page SEO, what that means is the actual physical website, be the headers, the content on there, the keywords on that, whether or not it's user-friendly, whether or not the website flows correctly and it's interlinked correctly. Effectively, everything that you can see when you go onto a website, that means the on-page SEO. And there's a big chunk that we'll cover off as we go along this presentation. The second part is off-page SEO, and that comes down to building good quality backlinks. One of the reasons why websites rank so highly in Google is because they've got high quality backlinks pointing to them. And conversely, this is what a lot of people struggle with. Even experienced marketers, they really struggle with quality backlinks. So we'll get into that during this presentation. The other side is the technical SEO side. So that's the underlying code that makes the website run. So that might be speed, security, are there images optimized? Is a JavaScript running, and is it minified? So it's using as few lines of code as possible to execute, because the fewer lines you've got to get the job done, the faster that code executes, the faster that website is, the better user experience that is. And obviously that helps with your ranking. So look, let's dive straight into on-page SEO. So the first thing, we obviously look at, and this image on the right will show you, is looking at the website structure. Is it structured in a methodical way, in a way that makes sense from a search engine optimization methodology? Are the meta tags, the metadata, or the meta descriptions correctly optimized for those products or services that business provides? The next thing that we then look at is the actual titles, they'd be heading 1, heading 2, and look at the actual HTML markup on those headings. Does that make sense? Are we using a core heading that makes sense, that tells Google, that instructs Google and the visitors what this page is all about, what this individual business provides, and is there further context? We then look at the keywords and content optimization. So one thing we don't do is put keyword after keyword after keyword, because that's keyword stuffing, and we'll get back into that. That sort of stuff used to happen in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's a sure way to get a penalty from Google, because it's seen as spammy. And the other thing we look at is the content of the right length? Is it providing enough value? And does that content appear to be authoritative? One of the things that Google measures authority on is something called EAT. What EAT stands for is expertise, authority, and trust. And there's a whole bunch of ranking signals around whether or not content seems legitimate. And there's so much more that we can go into in terms of one page that we cover off. But I think this gives you a really good high-level understanding on what on-page SEO is, what are the typical things that we look at from an on-page perspective. Now, look, on-page might move the needle, maybe 5–10%, maybe up to 20%. But what we've found that works consistently on the hundreds of clients that we've implemented SEO for successfully is really down to good quality off-page SEO. Conversely, this is the thing that many agencies struggle with, purported SEO agencies, purported marketing experts, and it's easy to understand why. This is where things can get quite technical on the SEO front. So, the sort of things that we're looking at here is good quality backlinks. We're not looking for spammy backlinks that are easy to obtain. They need to be on good websites with high authority, with real visitation. They need to have real traffic going to those websites. An example of that is in this Forbes article that you can see here to the top right of your screen, where they've linked Backlinko. The other thing is citation. So, earlier I mentioned directory listings. Now, you should have really good quality directory listings. There should be hundreds of those. There should be consistency across the name, address, and phone number. That should not change in variation from directory listing to listing. There should be enough information within that directory listing that tells the user about your business, tells Google about that business. The reason why off-page SEO really helps businesses and websites rank is because to Google, it provides a vote of confidence that, hey, look, this website means something. This website must be important because another website has made the effort to link to that website. And the more of these links and the higher quality of those links there are, it improves your website's domain authority. And the higher domain authority and page authority is, the higher you will rank. It's as simple as that. So links, and I think this is a really important part. Those links must not be easily acquirable. For example, if you went on Fiverr or freelancer.com and bought a bunch of shitty links off a freelancer off there, those are easily acquirable links, and they're bad news. And the reason why they're bad news is, one, they're not going to do anything for your rankings. They're not going to help your rankings. They will harm your rankings because they're easily obtainable and they're seen as spammy. So everything we're trying to do is avoid spammy links, because when you've got spammy links, that you might need 3 high quality links to sort of counteract the negative impact of those spammy links. So it's, it's very important to be cognizant of what a shit link can do for your business. The other thing is around anchor ratio. So, I won't dig too deep into this, but for example, if you were a plumber in Sydney, you wouldn't have each link going plumber in Sydney, 200 times, because that's just asking for trouble. The best way is to get those anchor ratios right is actually run some competitive analysis on the top 10 players in your current market. Look at who's ranking, look at what anchors they've got, what ratios those anchors are in, do some regression testing, and then that should give you the optimum ratio of what you can apply to your own business to improve your rankings across those data sets. And this is what we do for every single one of our clients. That is a technical skill that it's possible to learn yourself. You need to use Excel, you need to use tools like Ahrefs, and really just dig in deep, understand what type of anchors they are, and get the ratios right. Because when you do that right and build a good link building campaign on the back of that, and you know exactly how to acquire those good quality backlinks, that's how you move forward. Final note before I move off this off-page SEO. So, one of the things that we do to acquire really good high quality backlinks is we look at websites that are relevant to that business, that are in the same or similar industry. We look at high domain authority. We make sure that they're legitimate websites. We make sure that they're not linking out to too many websites. They're not a link farm. And we make sure that there's actually real live traffic going to that website. Real users are using that website, because that gives a real strong signal that you're getting good backlinks, high quality backlinks from good websites, which have got real traffic, real users. It's just a good way of doing it. That's what we do for every single one of our SEO clients. And the third part of the framework is around technical SEO. So what we're looking for here is that the website must be secure. It needs to have this SSL security certificate installed on there. We look at things like optimizing those images, so we compress the images so they're of a smaller file size. That means that they'll load faster, the website renders faster. We look at the underlying code. We remove code which is unnecessary, bloated code. Again, it's about rendering your website fast. We remove any unnecessary cascade style sheets. That's what CSS stands for. Any unnecessary JavaScript that's not necessary. Any dated HTML that is not actually being used. And then the final part is we look at the sort of the schema, the JSON schema, and the markup code, and that can give you some good extra features within the search engine results, things like article listings. It gives further context to Google about your business, where you might be located. There's loads of different schema markup models, but that's what we do on a website basis. So look, you can look up any of these items and start learning a little bit more about it. So let's get into the next part, is looking at, what are the risks with cheap SEO. You've probably seen it out there, get SEO, guaranteed SEO for $500 a month, $800 a month. And I'm telling you, no, don't do it, because it's using dodgy techniques that are going to harm your website. I've seen this so many times. People think that they're, saving money using cheap SEO. And often what's happening is, it gets offshore to countries like India, Bangladesh, the Philippines, and they're using spammy link building techniques. Remember what I was talking about earlier? So they're not getting high quality links. They're automating it with a robot. It's done offshore. It's using spun content, which means it's not real content. It's just computer generated content, which just looks like babble. Google is not stupid. They can see straight through this. Google can see straight through, a robot building 1,000 links within 5 minutes. That just doesn't happen in the real world. It takes days just to acquire one good quality link, let alone talking about, thousands of bad quality links. The other thing that, stands out is, having bad grammar. It doesn't look professional. Again, Google can see through this. Your customers can see through this. they're looking for a business that presents itself well, that markets itself well, that can get basic grammar and present the business in a professional manner. The other thing with cheap SEO is it's nefarious use of the black hat technique. So things like automated link building, using dodgy link farms. These things will get you permanently delisted from Google. If you look at this graph on the right, here's an actual business that's had a big drop in search visits because Google's just gone, hey, look, you're trying to manipulate the search positions by using dodgy tactics that, they're frowned upon. They'll just delist the business or get penalized. And it's very hard to recover from that once that's happened. Often it's better to start off from a new website, new branding, and trust me, you don't want to go down that journey. The other sort of dodgy SEO mistakes to avoid that we've seen in the market from clients coming to us from other agencies is, look, no link building has been done. Sometimes no link building has been done, and certain companies have been paying $2,000-3,000 a month for a SEO service without any backlinking being done, wondering why they're not improving the rankings, and they're locked into 12-month contracts. Well, it's hardly surprising. Your competitors that are ranking on Google are building links to their website. They may not be of the best quality, but they're building links. If you're not building links, you've got no authority. You're not going to rank. And this is the other part on keyword stuffing. So I mentioned that earlier. So keyword stuffing, here's an example here where, for example, you might get plumber in Sydney, plumber in Sydney, plumber in Sydney, again and again and again. It just doesn't read well. It's really spammy, right? Google can see through this, and it will trigger a penalty. If you've got this all over your website, get in touch with someone who knows how to do marketing, or get in touch with me. I can help you, reword your website and make sure that it makes sense, that it flows logically, that it isn't stuff that it, presents really professionally, and it gives customers three reasons to contact you today. That's the most important part. The other sort of dodgy shit that I've seen from other SEO agencies is they interlink, say, a plumber with an air conditioning company or a lawyer, and they interlink those websites together. Like, it's dodgy. You're paying for a good service. You're not paying for that SEO agency to use dodgy websites to then interlink with each other and hopefully drive up the authority. It's just, again, Google can see through that. If there's unrelated websites linking together, and you don't, look, for example, even if they're related, you don't want a plumber going to a different plumber. That's not good for anyone's business. So remember, you're paying for a service. You expect a good service to be delivered, and you expect it to be high quality and deliver real value for your business. So this, I suppose, this comes into how Marketix and myself helps with SEO and what our process looks like when we onboard a client. So the first step is obviously discovery. We then look at auditing that customer's website and their marketing plan. We then immediately implement those fixes and build on the on-page SEO side. That might include building out new service pages or new location pages. We then acquire really good high-quality backlinks. And then the fifth process of really tracking what's happening, measuring the improvements, and looking at ways that how we can improve service delivery, how we can improve the rankings, and help that customer get more customers and leads from their business website. So what does that SEO discovery look like? SEO discovery is really determining the best strategy to help your business grow in terms for your budget and your goals. So what do we get into? Really, we get an overview of your business, the lay of the land. What are your focus services? What are your products that you're offering? What are the locations that you target? What are your business's growth goals? What are you looking to launch new services? Are you looking to hire new employees? What are your growth goals? And then we'll look into competitive intelligence, because we will do some work in the background once we understand, look, who are the core competitors that you're playing against? How can we help you beat them? The next stage comes down to a website audit. So, in the first cut, we'll look for any errors, glaring errors from the website. We'll run a backlink audit to see if you've got any backlinks, what quality those backlinks are. If you've had any dodgy SEO work done in the past, we'll look at what's going on there and try and determine whether or not it's actually feasible for us to work with you. Because sometimes if dodgy SEO has been done, we just can't work with you. It's as simple as that. The third part is looking at the keyword audit. Which keywords are the sort of keywords that you need to be ranking for? Where are you currently ranking for those keywords? And then we'll look at a technical audit and see what we can do for your website in terms of speeding up its how it renders, your security, your mobility, etc. We then use best practice SEO methodology that we've got in-house to fix the issues. We build out service and location pages. We then do the SEO content build. So we make sure that we've got, 500 to 800 words of really good SEO content. That doesn't mean keyword stuffing. It means making it relevant for your users. What services do you provide? Why should we work with you? Give us 3 reasons why we should call you today. Testimonials, there's lots of things that we incorporate into our SEO content build, which really helps push your rankings and differentiates your content versus your competitors. And then the final part is conversion optimization, because there's no point in just having visitors coming to your website. What we actually look at is we use best practice in terms of conversion optimization to make sure that the more people that are coming to your website, the more likely they are to actually convert into a lead or inquiry or a phone call for your business. On the right are just a couple of example customer websites that we've worked on that demonstrate different ways of building out those content pages and conversion optimization. Backlinks and authority. So this is what, we're very good obviously at SEO at the whole gamut, but this is what we really excel at compared to other SEO agencies. I'd like to say that I know in Australia that we produce the best backlinks and the best website authority for our clients. And the reason behind that is because we do use super high quality backlinks. As I said, they're from real websites with real traffic, and we make them niche specific. So it's got a high level of relevancy. We also make sure that we're getting those backlinks from high domain authority websites. So they're websites that are already ranking very highly. We don't use any spammy links. We don't use any of the free guest posts or spam type blog links that many SEO agencies peddle or freelancers peddle. And again, we make sure that we get the anchor ratios correct. So all the work that we're doing is we're reducing the risk and making sure that there's no risk of you ever getting a Google penalty because they're high quality backlinks. And I'll give you another example. So what we'll do is we'll find an article which is relevant to your business on a real website with real traffic, and then we'll reach out to those website owners saying, hey, look, here's a bit of extra content that we can add. Can you please also backlink to this website? We need to do that thousands of times to acquire every single month to acquire a number of backlinks for our clients. Other SEO agencies aren't willing to provide this service. It's really what you call sort of niche edits or inserts into existing content, aged content that's got high authority and high value. We found that really pushes the needle for our customers. Then, look, it doesn't end there. Look, we hold ourselves accountable. If you look at most SEO agencies, they might provide quarterly reporting and monthly reporting. You just don't know what's going on. What we do differently is we provide weekly reporting every Monday morning at 8 a.m. And that's really important because it gives our customers the confidence that they know that we're doing the right thing by them every single week. It holds us accountable. It gives us full transparency on the work that we're doing. And in terms of that, it helps customers understand, what is their full rank analysis? How are the conversions tracking on their website? To the right is an example of a company that we've been doing SEO for since October of 2020, going up to March. And you can see the amount of changes that we've had. We've got so many of the keywords now ranking on first position, second position, third position on Google. And you'll see that it's not just on Google that we've improved their rankings in that time, it's also on Bing. So there's significant volume. So look, I want to leave you with some key takeaways with this presentation. The work that I do at Marketix means that we're not an average SEO agency. It's really about providing a really high caliber of services to our clients. And that incorporates providing weekly reporting, so it's giving full transparency to our customers. Number two, it's about providing super high quality backlinks that a lot of people struggle with, even purported SEO agencies. And really it's about providing the full transparency and trust. We know that there's a lot of SEO sharks out there. So, we're here to provide that transparency, the trust, and for you to know that we are at the top of our game for SEO services. Look, we don't do cheap SEO. We don't do $500 a month SEO, but what you get in return is very high quality services, which builds your website authority fast and helps you rank very fast, and maintains those rankings whilst keeping your website safe. So let's talk a little bit more about credentials. So if you look here, we've been featured in Australian press. So we've got here on Yahoo Finance about promising more value at the same price as comparable SEO agencies. The other thing was I was also included within Smart Companies Take. So look, they interviewed me and had the Australian Small Business Ombudsman. And we were talking about scammy agencies that are charging businesses through the roof for services that aren't delivering results. And they're not actually delivering what they said they would do. So those are some of the credentials. I'm happy to send you links to those articles in an email. Other credentials. So look, we've won a number of awards, Corporate Livewire New South Wales Prestige Awards. We've won the Inner West Local Business Awards in Sydney. We're an accredited New South Wales government supplier. What else have we got? So look, we're actually a Google partner, so Google trusts us with their Google Ads clients. We're also a HubSpot certified partner, so we're fully certified. And we also support customers on both of those platforms. If you can look up Marketix on Google to see some of the reviews. You'll see that they are detailed. They're from different types of companies. We've got Freediver here. We've got Ecommerce. We've got a HR services provider, business to business. We've got a company that provides white cards and traffic controller courses. Look, there's more reviews. If you can just Google Marketix and you'll see our reviews, and you'll see that we provide a really good service for our customers. So look, I won't go into depth, but if you look on the left here, you'll see those are the elements of the Moz research that I pointed to earlier. And on the right is a typical SKU of a service that we might deliver. So that looks at monthly ongoing on-page SEO, links built per month, looking at keyword research, auditing everything, reviewing and strategy of the SEO, fixing any issues, maintaining the sitemap, alignment of the keywords, link building, citations. We look at the offsite content and weekly SEO reporting analysis. Look, every single client will do that on a per client basis. It's different for every client, but I just want to give you an example of how those sort of ranking signals apply to the work that we do on a day-to-day basis. Proof is in the pudding. Here's just some screenshots of different clients. You already saw that one on the top left. We've got an electrician on the bottom left. We've got another electrician on the top right. And the bottom right, yeah, I think that's the electrician that you're seeing on the left. So, those are the changes that we've seen over time for a very competitive emergency electrician in Sydney. We've got so much proof. If you do jump on a call with us, I'm more than happy to show you through the proof of the work that we deliver, because it is of a very high caliber, and we back the work that we do. So key takeaways from this webinar: SEO really is the best long-term channel for your business. What SEO allows you to do over time is it allows you to obtain free leads and allows you to grow your brand. Really important factor here actually is your business must provide a searchable product or service. What I mean by that is, for example, someone going on Google must be able to search the context of what your business is. That might be a lawyer in Sydney, that might be an injury lawyer, that might be a plumber in Sydney, that might be HR consulting services. Someone needs to be able to search for what your business does for them to be able to find you. If you provide something unique in the marketplace that people aren't searching for, SEO isn't a good fit for you. We can't help you with that. last thing, and look, this is really important. You know, I can't stress this enough. Even if you don't engage me or set up a call with me, you must be really careful about using cheap SEO tactics, because it will penalize your website. And if you penalize your website, there's no recovering from that. You have to start fresh. It's just not a path you want to go through, because you have to rebrand everything. So look, this sort of wraps up the webinar. And look, I really emphasize this is, if you've got a searchable business and you're looking to grow your business, you're looking to acquire free leads and, you know, build a larger business, and acquire more customers, you really need to dominate Google. So look, look around here somewhere, click on the link and schedule a free 30-minute consultation. Or, you know, I'm more than happy to also give you a free SEO audit of your website. During that 30-minute consultation, we'll just have a little gauge into, you know, your business, what are the key products and services you offer, where you're actually ranking at the moment. And we can, you know, develop a plan to see how we might be able to help you and give you a proposal on how that will work for your website. So, you know, I do highly advise you click and book your meeting, but look, entirely up to you. You can walk away from this and just get the insights that I've given you. So look, industries we serve, there's a whole bunch of industries, but if I look at our core industries, you know, construction, professional services, IT, health and beauty, business to business services, we work with government, e-commerce, not-for-profit, restaurants and more. As long as it's a business that is searchable and someone might search for your product or service, we can help you. You know, just a refresher of some of the companies that we work with now. Construction, removals, all sorts going on there. IT services, we've even got enterprise customers like Fuji, Xerox. So, you know, we can work with small, medium and large businesses. We can work with product-based businesses. We can work with service-based businesses. So look, as long as your business is searchable on Google, we can work with you. So look, let's really cover this off. Are you a good fit for SEO? Number one, you must be searchable. Right, we've already covered that off. Number two, you must have an active business. I think this is important. Look, you can do SEO for a new business, but is it going to be worth your marketing dollar initially? Probably not. I think it's important that you've got an active business, that you've proven your product or service. You know that customers are willing to pay you for your product or service, because that really defines the rest of your sort of marketing strategy and how SEO can ramp that up. Number three, you need to be willing to invest in your growth. I've mentioned it so many times. With cheap SEO, you only stand to harm your website. It can take months of work for us to sort of undo the work of really bad SEO and start getting the needle moving again. Number four, you must be wanting to dominate Google. By dominate, you know, I just mean being on page one of the top 3 listings for products and services. And really, that's to help you do one or two things, right? It's about helping you build your business consistently, have that consistent business growth, and grow your brand organically. So, you know, be the name that customers come to when they're looking for your product or service in the locations that you service. So yeah, look, schedule your free 30-minute consultation, and you can also request a SEO audit of your website. Book your meeting now. Click on the link. Give me your details. Pick a calendar time, and look, I look forward to talking to you. Thank you for listening to me, and speak soon. Cheers.